Welcome to Web3 Made Simple, your gateway to understanding the most exciting technological revolution since the creation of the internet itself. I'm your instructor, and I want to start by thanking you for taking this important step in your learning journey. Whether you're here because you're curious about cryptocurrency, interested in new career opportunities, or simply want to understand what everyone's talking about when they say blockchain, you are in exactly the right place. Let me share something personal with you. When I first started exploring Web3 about 5 years ago, I felt completely lost. I'd hear terms like decentralized finance, smart contracts, and NFTs, and honestly, it sounded like a foreign language. I remember looking at complicated charts, reading technical white papers that might as well have been written in ancient Greek, and thinking, is this just for computer geniuses and Wall Street traders? But here's what I discovered and what changed everything for me. Web3 isn't actually that complicated when someone explains it properly. The problem isn't that the concepts are too difficult. The problem is that most explanations are designed by technical people for other technical people. They skip the important context, use too much jargon, and forget that everyone has to start somewhere. That's why I created this course. Not as another technical manual, but as a true beginner's guide. A guide that starts from absolute zero and builds up your understanding piece by piece. A guide that uses everyday analogies instead of technical jargon. A guide that focuses not just on what Web3 is, but why it matters to you personally. Over the next few hours, we're going to embark on a journey together, and I want you to know three things right from the start. First, you don't need any technical background. If you can send an email, use a smartphone app, or shop online, you already have all the skills you need. We'll build from there. Second, we're going to move at a pace that's comfortable for everyone. I've structured this course with natural stopping points, built in review sections, and plenty of real world examples to make sure every concept sticks. Third, this isn't just theory. By the end of this course, you'll have practical skills you can actually use. You'll know how to create and secure a digital wallet, how to recognize and avoid common scams, how to explore Web3 opportunities safely, and specifically, how to use the 0x platform, a real world example of Web3 changing lives through universal basic income. Before we dive in, I want to give you a quick tip for getting the most out of this course. I recommend keeping a notebook handy, either physical or digital. Jot down questions as they come up, note concepts you want to review, and most importantly, write down your aha moments when something clicks. Learning is most effective when we are actively engaged, not just passively watching. Also, I want to acknowledge that the Web3 space moves quickly. New projects emerge, technologies evolve, and regulations change. But here's the good news. The fundamental concepts we are covering in this course blockchain, cryptography, decentralization, digital ownership. These are the bedrock principles that will remain relevant regardless of how specific applications change. You are not just learning today's facts, you are building lasting understanding that will serve you for years to come. One last thing before we begin, I want you to approach this material with curiosity, not pressure. If some concepts feel unfamiliar at first, that's completely normal. Remember when you first learned to use a smartphone? Those initial swipes and taps felt awkward, but now they are second nature. Web3 concepts work the same way. They become familiar with exposure and practice. So, are you ready to begin this journey? Ready to understand what's really happening behind the headlines about cryptocurrency? Ready to discover how blockchain technology is creating new opportunities for people around the world? Ready to learn how to participate safely and confidently in the decentralized future? Let's get started. Before we dive into the content, I want to give you a clear roadmap of exactly what we'll be covering together. Think of this as our course itinerary. Knowing where we're going makes the journey much more enjoyable and effective. This course is organized into four comprehensive modules, each building on what came before. Here's exactly what you learn. In our first module, we're building the foundation. We'll start with the big picture question: what is Web3 and why does it matter? We'll take a fascinating journey through the evolution of the internet, from Web 1, the read only web of the 90 seconds, to Web 2, the interactive but centralized web we use today, to Web 3, the decentralized, user owned web of the future. You'll understand not just what changed technologically, but more importantly, why each evolution mattered and what problems it solved or created. Then we'll dive into blockchain technology. Now, I know that might sound technical, but I promise you I'm going to explain it using simple analogies that anyone can understand. Imagine I'm explaining email to someone in 1995. I wouldn't start with SMTP protocols and server architecture. I'd say it's like sending a letter, but instantly to anyone in the world for almost free. That's the approach we're taking here. You'll learn what blockchain actually is. Hint, it's simpler than you think. Why it's secure, transparent, and tamper proof. How it creates trust without needing banks or governments as intermediaries. Government. What smart contracts are and why they are revolutionary. Real world examples of blockchain in action today. By the end of Module 1, you'll have a solid mental framework that will make everything else in the course make perfect sense. You'll understand why Web3 represents such a significant shift, and you'll be able to explain it to your friends in simple terms. This is where we get practical. We'll explore cryptocurrency, starting with what it actually is, digital money secured by cryptography, and why different cryptocurrencies serve different purposes. You'll understand why Bitcoin is called digital gold, how Ethereum enables smart contracts and decentralized apps, why Solana is known for speed and low fees, what stablecoins are and why they matter for everyday use, the real factors that give cryptocurrency value. Then we'll cover digital wallets, your essential tool for interacting with Web3. This is crucial foundational information. You'll learn the critical difference between public keys and private keys and why this matters, what seed phrases are and why they are the most important security element, different types of wallets, hot wallets, convenient versus cold wallets, secure, step by step how to send and receive cryptocurrency safely, cryptocurrency, common mistakes to avoid, and they are not what you might think. This module is packed with practical knowledge. You'll come away not just understanding the concepts, but knowing exactly how to apply them safely. Here's where theory meets practice in a powerful way. We'll explore Universal Basic Income UBI through a Web3 lens. You'll learn what UBI actually is beyond the political debates, why it matters for human dignity, stability, and equality, how traditional UBI systems face challenges with corruption, inefficiency, and exclusion, how blockchain technology solves these problems through transparency, automation, and global access. Then we'll walk through the 0x Mintine platform, a real world example of Web3 in action. You'll see exactly how a Web3 UBI platform works from start to finish, creating a wallet specifically for UBI, secure identity verification without compromising privacy, how to claim UBI payments, participating in platform governance, the role of stablecoins in making UBI practical, and may. This module makes everything concrete. You'll see how all the concepts we've learned come together in a real application that's changing lives. Our final module is arguably the most important. We'll address the reality of risks in Web3 with complete honesty. then show you the genuine opportunities available to those who navigate this space wisely. You learn to recognize and avoid common scams, phishing, fake support, rug pulls, technical risks, smart contract vulnerabilities, network issues, user mistakes, the irreversible errors people commonly make, market risk, volatility, liquidity issues. More importantly, you learn specific, actionable strategies to protect yourself. This isn't scare tactics, it's practical self defense in the digital world. Then we'll explore the real opportunities in Web3, emerging career paths. Many don't require technical skills, microtask and gig platforms, the creator economy to proc, financial opportunities beyond speculation. Most importantly, how Web3 enables global financial inclusion throughout all four modules will emphasize safety first, practical application second, and understanding third. My goal is that by the end of this course, you don't just know about Web3, you know how to participate in it safely, confidently, and effectively. Now, I know that's a lot of information, but here's my promise to you. We are going to take it step by step. We'll use plenty of analogies, real world examples, and built in reviews. If at any point you feel like you're not quite getting something, don't worry, that's normal. Just pause, rewind if you need to, and remember that complex concepts become simple with the right explanation. Are you ready to begin? Let's start with understanding what Web3 really is and why it matters. 1. Multiple analogies from everyday life. 2. Real world examples from current applications. 3. Engaging questions to the viewer. 4. Personal stories and experiences. 5. Practical applications and how to guidance. 6. Safety warnings and best practices. 7. Future implications and opportunities. 8. Built-in review of key concepts. 9. Interactive elements. Think about, imagine if. 10. Motivational elements to keep learners engaged. Now let's tackle one of the most important concepts in this entire course. What exactly is a blockchain? I want you to forget everything you've heard about complicated technical definitions for a moment. Instead, let me tell you a story. Imagine we're back in a small village about 200 years ago. The village has a problem. People keep having disputes about who owns what land. One person says,